Who's the guy who died who was in a wheelchair, who was deaf, and he like couldn't move?
Stephen Hawking?
Yeah.
No, he
I'm gonna
wasn't
have you.
deaf. He wasn't deaf. Stephen Hawking wasn't deaf.
You know what I
He
mean? He
was.
was like, you know.
He had
I'm
some
gonna
sort
give
of
you
crazy
a.
muscular disorder. I don't know what
Yeah,
it was. At a certain point in time, he was walking around. He was bipedal. Like he was
Lou
cruising
Gehrig's
around.
disease or some shit is what he had.
No, it wasn't Lou Gehrig's disease. If it was Lou Gehrig's disease, he would have been dead long ago. Lou Gehrig's disease is you know how your fraternity has special diseases that they sponsor. It's like, oh, we're gonna get
Cystic
drunk and
fibrosis. Yeah.
crush beer cans on our forehead on a Saturday night.
We're gonna go play ultimate frisbee for like 2 hours and do it for cystic fibrosis and retarded children.
Exactly. Exactly. This wrist flips for you, kid whose lungs are filling with mucus and can barely breathe. Like, this is for you today, Timmy. We're going to put you up in that little hospital where all the sick kids get waved at in Iowa, and you're going to get better, buddy, because I'm playing Ultimate.
We're gonna pound some Coors, and by the third base, we're gonna all throw up, round in third. But it's for you, Timmy. All for
Yeah.
you.
We're
Dude,
gonna,
do me a favor.
we're gonna kick ball cancer to death. We're kick ball cancer to death right now.
We had this thing in my school called dance marathon, where it was like I'm sure you guys had the same thing, but it was dance marathon, and it was a Greek community thing. And what you would do is you would go into an auditorium, and you guys would just dance, and it's called dance marathon. And so like sororities and fraternities would raise money, and it's like if I'm going to dance for 12 hours, you guys are going to give me $20 for every hour, and then a lot of people donate, and they would end up accumulating like $150,000. Dude, people would just go there and get fucked up, dance for like an hour, pass out, and then like when you'd have to do like the how much did you raise? It's like, oh, rose like $40. Because nobody
So
ever did it. You would just get fucked up and just
I
go there
did
and try to
too much
fuck kids,
ecstasy, not the right amount. You got to hit the sweet spot with that. You do just the right amount of ecstasy, you're going all night. You go too far, you're a madman, you're a machine for 35 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're blacking out.
I was doing the Macarena. Next thing I knew, I was face down in the toilet throwing up, somebody rubbing my back. I don't know what happened. I thought I ate a Mentos, but it wasn't a Mentos. It was MDMA.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Week 9 NFL is almost in the books. We're sitting here on a Sunday night. Sunday night games going on. Packers at the Patriots. That's a good one as we're looking at it. PG, what's the update on that game?
Right now it's 7-3 Patriots, but it's the first quarter, so there's plenty of time for the refs to fuck the game up. So I'm excited.
Plenty more time. Hey, watch Belichick slide some 20s in the pocket of those referees. I know people are pissed about that. I'm not watching the game right now, but I know people are already complaining about that.
Mm-hmm. You already know. Underinflated, overinflated, who knows?
How much air is in those footballs? That's talking about, well, we're going to get off track here real quick. Talking about air in football. So this week's Deflategate was obviously the Devin White suspension for LSU. So people were talking about that all week, about how Devin White, the middle linebacker for LSU, has been suspended for the first half of that game. And guess what, people? Just like the air in the footballs. I don't know if you remember when Deflategate came out, Tommy scored like 5 fucking touchdowns in the second half of that Colts game after they changed the footballs out. So I don't think that was the issue. And I don't think that Devin White being gone for the first half was the issue there because he doesn't play quarterback. Now, if he played quarterback, maybe we're sitting here talking about something different. But the Tide, they went and just steamrolled the Tigers down there. And, a tough Saturday for everyone in Louisiana, but a good Sunday for them.
So what happened? It was Devin White was targeting people. Is that what it was? And
he got suspended for targeting at the end
Michigan
of
State player, right? Or Mississippi State player.
No, he's LSU. He's an LSU player.
No, but he was targeting somebody in Mississippi State, right?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember who they played right before that. But he got, the way those rules work is if that happens in the second half of a game, you get suspended for the rest of that game and then the first half of the other game.
It's stupid.
It's a dumb rule. And somebody actually made one of those, prop playing where they pulled a sign behind it things. It was free Devin White. Turned out it didn't matter at all. They got blasted 29-0. And, the big thing before that, the big locker room, fodder was Nick Saban went on a local radio show and they said, "Hey, Nick," some guy called in. He's like, "Hey, Nick, man, I tell you what, if you win a coin toss, what are you going to do? Are you going to you going to kick off or are you going to receive?" And Nick Saban sits there for a minute and just cold blooded. He's like, "I'll tell you what, I hope we elect to kick ass." So that was going all around everywhere. And it turns out they did elect to kick ass because they kicked the shit out of LSU. And it's a 2-team race at this point in college football. Looks like Clemson and, Alabama are on a crash course for each other once again. Doesn't disappoint me. They played they played 3 fantastic playoff games in a row. Always entertaining. Love me some Dabo Swinney. Their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, out there in Clemson, he's got one of those Patrick Mahomes trebuchet arms where people put up like, "Oh man, I tell you what, man, Patrick Mahomes threw," they put up all these NFL quarterbacks and how hard they throw the ball. And apparently this dude, he looks like he's like some like 6'6" white dude with long hair. Looks like he just shredded some gnar and then popped onto the field. And he throws the fuck out of that thing. And they ended up beating Louisville, my boy Bobby Petrino, 77 to like 10. It was nasty. Very nasty. Tough times for Bobby. Wearing that neck
brace at the end of the game, huh?
Yeah, he pulled out the neck brace. Turns out it wasn't because he crashed a motorcycle with one of his assistants. Not his coaching assistants,
/lover.
Fuck doll. Who he encouraged to leave the scene, obviously, before, that all backfired on him.
Because he's a gentleman.
All right? He didn't want the young lady to get in any sort of tough situation. That's all he's thinking about is other people, right? Bobby's worried about that young lady and her reputation. He's just trying to be considerate, all right? That's what that really boils down to. It's got nothing to do with him. And anyone who would, contradict
his integrity.
You're gonna have to deal with me too. You have to deal with Bobby Fever and Bobby Petrino if you want to talk some shit on that guy, because he's a man of integrity, and that's one of the things. Mike Zimmer, who we all know and love, he fucking hates Bobby Petrino. Like he hates him because he was involved. I think he was with the Falcons when Bobby Petrino quit on them in the middle of the year when he pulled the coaching Vontae Davis. So he pulled the straight up coaching Vontae Davis. But I guess he didn't quit in the middle of the game. So it was like a half of a Vontae. But he just quit during the year, and then he got his big payout from Arkansas. And then came the wreck, and then came the neck brace, and then came on Saturday the second neck brace given to him by the people at Clemson. So it's tough to see, when bad things happen to good people like that. What's next? Rick Pitino going to start running into problems? No, that's not fair. There's kids with cancer, and then there's the stuff that happens with Bobby Petrino, and none of them deserve that. No one deserves any of that.
I don't want to live in a world where people that are good and kind, like Bobby Petrino and Rick Pitino, have to endure anything negative. Those people are integrity personified. Let me ask you a question. Let's rewind a little bit. You're talking about Bama versus Clemson. It's a 2-way race right now. What if Bama loses to Georgia?
I think they're still in. I mean, they could lose to Georgia in the SEC championship game. The East is all wrapped up, obviously, because your Florida Gators shit their pants and lost to Missouri. And then out comes Dan Mullen. I didn't even read the article, but he said something about how he was disappointed with the Florida crowd. It's like, how the fuck can you be disappointed with the crowd when you're getting your ass kicked by Missouri? They deserve to turn on you. Like, they should turn on you if you got those losers from Missouri putting it on you.
No, I agree. 100%. I'm with you there, buddy. And I haven't been on Dan Mullen's dick at all. I'm the one person who's been not happy with Dan Mullen. Even his play calling during the Florida-Georgia game was substandard, subpar. But everybody loved him, was riding his dick. But fuck him, whatever.
Long gone is the beautiful yin-yang between the illustrious Tim Tebow and the murderous Aaron Hernandez populating the sidelines of Florida Gators games. It's a different world out there.
Don't forget Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper. Okay?
Riley Cooper, yeah.
His roommate, Tim Tebow's roommate in college, okay? How easily we forget.
That's true. What we don't forget is Riley Cooper screaming the N-word at a freaking country music concert. No one ever forgot that, except for Chip
Yeah,
Kelly, apparently, because he gave him a big contract like the next week. But
which didn't pay out at all. Who knows where Riley Cooper is? Probably working at State Farm Insurance. Let's rewind a little bit more. You talked about this 2-game suspension thing. When you talk about targeting players, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. Do you think that's a good way to rig games? Like
a
if
lot
you're a
of
referee?
a lot of people that were LSU fans sure as hell did. They absolutely did. And even James Carville. Do you know who James Carville is?
No, but he's got a cool Orville Redenbacher name. So
He's
does he
yeah,
sell popcorn?
he's got a fantastic name. Like you want to buy ice cream from that man.
Yeah.
And
Oh, totally.
he is like Google James Carville. Like just Google that real quick cuz he looks like if you were going
Oh,
to
this dude.
describe yeah, if you're going to describe an ignorant LSU fan to a sketch artist, he would draw you a picture of James Carville. That's what comes out of there. That's what's coming out of the printer as the Russian guys screaming "Kaiser Soze!" Like that's the picture that's the picture that's coming out of there as that's going on. But he went on game day and he was on College Game Day and he voiced those concerns that it was rigged, that people were, rigging things for Alabama. And he went so far to the
Totally.
point where ESPN actually issued an on-air apology for all the crazy shit that he said when he was on their program.
You know what? James Carville, he's done one thing in his life that I remember. I know he's been on like Crossfire and all these stupid major news, CNN, MSNBC shows. He was in Old School, and him and Will Ferrell had like the debate team battle. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that. Well, Will Ferrell has like the dialogue, and he like blacks out and talks about business ethics or something. And
Yeah.
then he's
No,
like,
business ethics is you're
"Oh no,
conflating
Billy
that
Madison.
with Billy Madison.
Madison.
Yeah. But he's talking about something, government or some Will Ferrell's got no business answering.
Yeah." And he says, "That's perfect." And then they win, and whoever the dean is, he's pissed off, and he ain't happy about that.
That's funny because Old School connection, Vince Vaughn was actually on the sideline for that LSU beatdown. So he was on the LSU sideline. Odell Beckham was there. He had a week off from getting his ass kicked with the New York Giants. So he felt it necessary to head down to Louisiana and witness an ass kicking firsthand, just so we could stay warmed up for next week. Keep those butthole muscles loose.
Must be good going to your alma mater and just watching them get the shit kicked out of them. Must be a good feeling.
Can't be a good feeling, but I'll tell you what, Arizona Wildcats are 5-5 right now after our yet another conference win over the Colorado Buffaloes. Yeah, you say, wow, that's almost the same record as the fucking Gators have. So
Yeah, but the Gators are in the SEC. I mean, you guys play Utah, like UCLA, and like Colorado.
both teams that beat us. We were very easily handled by Utah and then lost a close one to UCLA.
Yeah, but you guys are going to play Arizona State, and you guys are going to hopefully win them or beat that game or win that game.
I don't know. I'd love to do that. I mean, I would love to beat that. And that's one of those, we're like Auburn fans there. Tough times for Auburn fans. They've won a couple in a row, so it's hard to get the momentum for the Fire Gene Chizik train fired up. But I don't know. We'll see how all that goes. So college
That's next
football,
week, isn't it? That's next week or the following week, I think.
The Iron Bowl?
No, Arizona State versus Arizona. Iron Bowl is Thanksgiving weekend.
We usually play that on Thanksgiving weekend as well. You just don't realize that because no one gives a shit. Outside of those two area codes, no one cares about that. There's no reason that they should.
Right.
That's like getting excited about the Egg Bowl.
The Chick-fil-A Bennigan's Bowl or some bullshit like that.
No, the Egg Bowl is Mississippi State.
Oh, where they have like the spoons or whatever. They like throw spoons around and make clanking sounds. Or they got bells. I don't know. They got some stupid shit they do.
Yeah, Mississippi State has those cowbells. I don't fucking know how they get away with that. That can't be. That's not legal, right? It's really not legal. They got a workaround that they don't do it, once the offense comes up to the line. But that's bullshit. There's always some asshole banging on a cowbell there. So
that's like the sporting events, man. People take whistles and they they whistle on the sidelines and stuff. That's a big one too.
It's a big one. So we're going to go ahead and, college football's heating up. We'll go ahead. We'll get into this NFL action for the week. And like I said, I was telling you earlier, I went very heavy on my betting action this week. I've been very bored lately for obvious reasons that you're well aware of. But I had to get some more excitement. I've been betting a little bit here or there, but I really cranked up the juice, and I emptied out my whole account today, put everything on the line, spread across the board, and I had a good fucking day. I'm already up big time thanks to a bunch of teams we're going to talk about here. So I'm going to give some thank yous out to some teams, and I'm going to give some fuck yous out to the guys that really let me down. First thank you
Overall,
of the week.
though, you did good overall, though, right? Are you happy?
Oh, very good. I'm up 35% on my bankroll right now. Nice. So, and I still got money out on the Packers tonight. And then I'm going to be cheering right along with Skip Bayless tomorrow. I got money on the Dallas Cowboys as well Monday night.
Jeez. Who are they playing?
The Titans at home. So, I mean, they're 4.5-point favorites on that thing. And, the Packers, they're 6-point dogs. At least that's where I got in on it.
You put money on the Packers?
Yeah, I'm on the Packers. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm watching that right now. It's 10-3, but Green Bay just got the ball back. So we'll be tracking that. I'll be groaning for every. I'm usually rooting for the Patriots because of Gronk, but Gronk's out tonight, so there's no reason to really root for them other than the fact that I like Belichick. But we'll keep track of that. It was my first thank you of the week goes out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin wearing that hat, but also wearing those aviator sunglasses. He was looking ferocious on the sideline. Steelers won this one 23-16, 5-2-1. Ravens fall to 4-5. Questions afterward about John Harbaugh and his job security, but no questions as to whether or not Joe Flacco gave a shit about that thing.
Well, there's some evidence at the end. He didn't say thank you to any of his Ravens players. He went straight to the Steelers defense, started high-fiving them, started shaking hands, smiling, undressing people with those eyes of his. It's bullshit, dude. He doesn't care. He's getting paid to hang out. But it's cool. I wish I was him.
I wish that I could not care about anything in my life that stresses me out as much as Joe Flacco appears to not give a shit about losing football games. I've never seen. He is the football player equivalent of Jason Garrett. Like when Jason Garrett, the head coach for the Cowboys, loses a game, he just runs across the field smiling, high-fiving people. Like, oh, man, like it was such a privilege.
He does. You're right.
He looks like Kelly Clarkson, like meeting other celebrities. He's like, oh, my God, I didn't even know you. I'm such a big fan. It's like, come on, man. Chill the fuck out. You got to be a man about that. You got to be upset. I get it that in the NFL, they never get that upset about losing games. It's a job. It happens. You're going to lose a bunch of games. But Jalen Ramsey sure doesn't seem to have a problem getting mad about things. So why can't Joe Flacco give me just a little bit of what Jalen Ramsey shows after a loss?
Well, because he doesn't give a shit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right, as I was. That's a self-answering question. But James Conner had another big game. It looked for a while like Ben Roethlisberger. As a slip there, I was thinking maybe I was thinking too much about OJ. We were talking about in the last episode, Ben Roethlisberger. But anyhow, he fell down, got fallen on by somebody, and put his arm out. And I was screaming. I thought I saw it. I was like, "Oh, he broke his collarbone."
The Tony Romo special face down and right shoulder. Oof, did not look good.
I thought he was done for. Dobbs came in for only a play, threw a nice 20-yard pass out of his own end zone, and then got him out of a jam. Roethlisberger, they carried the day. So Steelers first place in that division. Questions about John Harbaugh, questions about Joe Flacco. I don't know about John Harbaugh. I think he's a good coach. He's got a Super Bowl ring. But he's been prisoner to Joe Flacco. We got to get rid of him and then give John Harbaugh another year or two, see if that guy can really coach.
Yeah, he's not a bad coach. He won a Super Bowl ring, for God's sakes. He's got Lamar Jackson, right? He's got like the 32nd round pick quarterback. Isn't that who
he was the 32nd pick in the draft. I don't know. I haven't seen too much of him as a quarterback, but they put him in there. They do that stupid shit with him, like he's Taysom Hill from the Saints.
Yeah, he like running around and go for like a 1 yard loss or something.
Yeah, it's like
Very
even though he's a quarterback, whenever he's in the game, they know they're gonna run it. So it's
they
like,
just run it.
so moving on to the next game, Falcons at the Redskins. Falcons 38, Redskins 14, and big power outage in Washington D.C. So big blackout. All the DVD players went offline. Netflix unavailable. And AP was unable to get his viewing of The Rock in before the game because we had nothing out of AP. Redskins, they got down early, abandoned the running game. Never should have done that. And then here's what happens when you don't feed the beast. You end up giving Matt Ryan too much time. 38-14. Matty with 4 TDs. We called it earlier, called it 3 weeks ago. Falcons, best 1-4 team in the history of the NFL. They're on a roll. They're going to get 2 more before they have to play the Saints at the end of November.
Why did they not give it to AP? Why didn't they give it to him?
They got down too much early. Like, that was the big thing. AP only had 9 attempts for 17 yards. He's just getting warmed up at that point. His old-ass legs, he's got to work the fucking creaks out. Like, he's not even rolling till attempt 2021. That's when he's going to break off that 70-yarder. He's got to smash into something, move that fluid out of his brain, let the fog lift, and then he's going to get something going on. When Alex Smith is your top rusher, they got down too quick. But, hey, I saw that one coming. I was doubled up on the Falcons as far as my units go. I really believed in them. 38-14. And here's the big news for the Falcons. Julio Jones, first touchdown catch of the year. All right, Julio. Congratulations, brother. Way to go.
Well done.
Well done. I did appreciate all the mad shit talk from DJ Swearinger. That guy is one of my favorite NFL players of all time. All he does is headhunt, try and knock people out, and talk shit.
Talk mad shit.
So that was a good game for me. And I'll tell you what, I was doubled up on the Brock Lobster too. Brock Lobster 13, Jets 6. People are calling for Todd Bowles' head. Rightfully so. I don't think he makes it out of the year. He has all the looks of one of these December firings.
3-5 or 3-6.
3-6. Sam Darnold's moving backwards. He threw 4 picks today. Nate Peterman played today, and Sam Darnold played worse than Nate Peterman. So that's not good.
Well, they were saying that he actually, Sam Darnold took first place in interceptions. So I think he's at like 11 or 12 interceptions or something. So he's leading the league in interceptions. So Nate Peterman is going to try his best next week to fix that.
He's going to do what he needs to do. But here's the thing. Peterman hasn't played nearly as many games as Darnold has. So that's somewhat of a misnomer. Peterman has the NFL's all-time highest interception rate for any quarterback with 100 or more attempts. So he's still very firmly entrenched. The funny thing about that was, I think it was Robert Mays from The Ringer tweeted out, Peterman's first 2 picks of the day, which we'll get to him later, but the first 2 of them, they were definitely not his fault. They bounced right off of people's hands. But he tweeted out, he's like, Nathan Peterman, his passes have become self-aware and are now intercepting themselves. So
it's pretty good.
I thought that was a good one. I thought the game was a stinker. Everyone else thought it was terrible too. Like everybody, it was a horrible, unwatchable game. Red Zone, though, Scott Hansen, thank you. You kept it off of my TV, and that's all I could ask. Dolphins take that one, cover the spread for me. Thank you, everyone in Miami. But you're heading back down. You're heading back down soon enough. And then Frank Gore passed Barry Sanders on the all-time yards from scrimmage list. So good for Frank. Got another Segway coupon today, and he's ready to head to retirement in about 5 years. They're going to have to drag him off the field like Joe Namath after Lawrence Taylor broke his leg. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that is one of the all-time best sports injuries. It is gruesome.
Gross.
It's like one of those, who is that guy? Like it's like a Paul George thing, but LT doing it to him. It was like having a refrigerator fall on your fucking head. It
like
was
your
gruesome.
fucking pops out of your leg and it's like all white looking. You know,
Yeah.
that are so fucked up they don't look real. You
Yeah,
know,
to where the guy that it happens to, he's just in shock. Like he doesn't even look like he's in any pain because he's just sitting there staring at his limb, just torn in half. It's like
the
fuck, man.
the PG one was disgusting because he just kind of he just landed on the end of his tibia, like his ankle was just moved out of the way, so he's like standing on his tibia. There was a gross one too a couple years ago during the NCAA tournament. I don't know if you remember. It was something smart. One of
No, it
the
was Ware from Louisville. This
oh,
guy Ware from Louisville. He shot a 3 or something.
landed oh
Came down and had one of those pokey through fucking injuries. Oh, what happened to that guy? Oh, he's got a pokey through. Oh man, that's gruesome. But they all seem to come back from that though,
yeah, it's
for the
easy.
most part.
Back in, you munch on some antibiotics and take some Excedrin PM, and that's about it. You heal up just fine.
Get in one of those cryo chambers next to LeBron, you're good to go. No reason to worry about that. Not at all. But I'll
That's
tell you who. What's
gross.
up?
Oh my god, those are gross injuries.
Super gross. I'll tell you what, I don't know how Matt Stafford got out of this game without getting one of those things. He was sacked 10 times today, 24-9. The Vikings take care of the Lions. And if I, like I said before in our preview edition, if I'm that fucking reporter that Matt Patricia called out in that pregame presser, I am in this thing in a suit, dressed to the fucking nines, ready to tear him apart after the game.
You did your push-ups like in the hallway before you walk in there. Just pour some cologne on you, some rouge. Walk in and just be ready to rock.
I'm walking in like Conor McGregor into that presser, just swinging my arms left and right, cocky as fuck, and ready to give it to Matt Patricia.
The John Cena music, the John Cena music in the background. That's a good one too.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Daniel Cormier, he beat the fuck out of Derek Lewis. Just crawled on top of him. Yeah, he beat him hard, and then choked him out.
You just like put him on the ground and submit him.
He just wrestled him. I didn't actually see the fight. It wasn't something worth buying. But everything I read of the recap, he just kept taking him down, crawling on top of him, beating him. And then when Lewis turtled up and tried to stand, Cormier choked him out. It wasn't a close fight at all. Chris Weidman got knocked out too, from what I understand. But I did see one.
Derek Lewis to get choked out. Unless you could get one of those Widowmakers in there, it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, in Cormier, he's been around for too long to let something like... He was a prohibitive betting favorite, so lots of people made a little bit of money on that thing.
Small amount of money.
A little bit of money. Dalvin Cook was back today. He looked good. Overall, big win for the Vikings. Mike Zimmer's happy. Good news for all the squirrels on Route 9. He's gonna pump the brakes for you this week, buddy. You're gonna be able to pick up a few more acorns and stash them in for that long Minnesota winter.
It's crazy when you see Dan Bailey walk up to kick a field goal. It's almost like he looks scared or frightened because he knows that Mike Zimmer might choke him out. It's crazy. It's like a 30-yard chip shot, and he's like shaking. He doesn't look comfortable. And then it pans to Mike, and Mike Zimmer looks pissed.
There are a couple, tough spots. Like you don't want to be married to Bobby Brown, and you don't want to be Mike Zimmer's kicker. Like you don't want any of those positions in life. Those are not the places you want to be. And you don't want to be a Cleveland Browns fan. Cleveland Browns, they got their asses kicked yet again. Hey, welcome back to reality. Chiefs 37, Browns 21. Chiefs cover that 9-point spread. Thank you very much, Andy Reid. Do appreciate that. Baker Mayfield, he looked okay. Patty Mahomes, though, he's Patty Mahomes. And he was slinging it all around. Chiefs, they were not even contested today. Greg Williams, I don't know what's going on. They may have another head coach by the end of the year. They may be...
Yeah, I agree.
They may be promoting fans to coaching positions at a certain point in time, or like local radio hosts. Somebody, anybody, get a grip on what's going on in Cleveland so that we can see a little bit of something out of Baker Mayfield.
Just put like John Fox in, Just bring back John Fox, throw him in there, and, it'll be another 2 or 3 years of rebuilding, and then we'll bring in Gary Kubiak. We know
Let's
such.
get Jeff Fisher in there the rest of the year. He could probably win 2 more games. He'd be looking great with those sunglasses on. Even in the dead of winter in Cleveland, he'd be rocking those things. He
Yeah,
doesn't care.
9-6-1, win 7 straight. Might
He'll
work.
do that. He could do that. Eating tacos, loving life.
Being messy, getting guacamole all over his chin.
Just yeah, at least he doesn't have one of those gross Matt Patricia beards where you're like, bro, come on now, get that fucking corn sauce out of there. Like,
Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick's got a disgusting beard too. That thing looks gnarled and fucked up.
it's gross. It's very gross. So talking about gross, the Bears at the Bills. This is a big mistake I made this weekend. God damn it. Why do I keep going back? Why do I keep going back into this place? This
Like
dark place where I think that like it's 2-7, all right. So the Bills, they've fucking done this twice where they've, played decent. I don't like Mitch Trubisky. He only had 135 yards passing. So there are reasons for me to not like Mitch Trubisky. This doesn't get you out of anything, Mitch Trubisky. All right. Don't think that I think any better of you because you can take out Peterman at home. Peterman, 189, threw a 3/5 Peterman today, 0.6 Peterman, only 3 picks. Like I said, 2 of those legitimately probably not his fault. But at the end of the day, still going to suffer the wrath of Twitter and everyone else when it comes to just looking like an asshole.
Dude, that shit was over at like the end of the second half. It was like 28-0. It was like over.
It was very over. And the sad part was, all right, so the Bills are 10-point favorites. And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I was like, all right, so I bet money on the Bills. And I put him in a 10-point teaser with a couple other teams. Of course, the other 2 of them hit. And then, so the Bills are actually, I had them up to 20.5. So I had them up to 20. I teased them all the way up to 20.5. And I didn't even get that. They lost by fucking 32. So I was kind of interested. I was the only person in the world, I think, still interested in that from a betting perspective because no one was dumb enough to make that fucking move. But yeah, enough other things work out for me. But that was one of those moments where I was just like, God damn it, dude. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? And
You're
then
like
we
in that abusive relationship that keeps crawling back to like her lover.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically I'm Whitney in this. Like, I'm Whitney, and the Bills are Bobby, and I'm out there making all the money, and then they're in here taking it away from me and spending it on prostitutes. I would imagine. I don't know. I don't have any hard evidence that that Bobby Brown solicits prostitutes, but just like I don't have any hard evidence that Jim Irsay is a murderer, it's like I can still make that conjecture pretty reasonably.
Yeah, it's like we can't prove global warming, but temperatures keep rising. We can't prove Jim Irsay's a murderer, but what happened to all these hookers? They keep disappearing.
They just keep disappearing like the polar ice caps. It's like, come on, man. Like that's one of these things. Like whenever I see, so I'm not a particularly sound environmentalist. All right, I'm still using straws. Like I'll actually take an extra 4.
We all are shitty like people to our environment. Like, do you eat food? Of course. Okay. We throw it out. Of course. Okay.
Yeah, me and the other 8 billion human beings on the fucking planet. It's too many of us, man. There's too many people in this party.
Too many.
So that's why anybody who's a vegan or, live in Portland, right? So there's a lot of these hippies around here that drive their Prius, only eat tofu, and then, have their wives fucking, butt fucking them at night because they're just such cucks, right? And so I see these people and I can feel their judging eyes. I can feel them on me because I got a truck that I drive around. I'm not one of those guys that has like a coal roller on it or anything, but I got a truck that I drive around. So I know I get, and then I look like a skinhead. So I know I get profiled by these people.
Do you have the metal balls that hang off the bumper of your car?
Yeah, I get the metal balls, the Calvin pissing on whatever brand of truck is not mine. And, the funny thing about Oregon is there actually is a lot of racists out here. So you'll see some, I mean, you're in Florida, so you definitely get some of that shit.
Yeah,
But you'll see the old stars and bars flying around every now and again.
I get it a lot. You'll get people driving around with like the big flag hanging off of their truck, like a big old Confederate flag. Makes me
It's not
smile.
it's not about racism, man. It's about history and pride of being racist.
It's about history. What's the Civil War? What is that again?
That wasn't about slavery. That was about states' rights to own slaves. But anyhow, so I'll get these people wearing flannel that are, I feel like they're looking around judging me. But I'll tell you this, if you're a human being out there and you have a kid, then fuck you. I'm more environmentally friendly than you are, no matter what. I don't care how many straws you don't use. There's a landfill out there with 4,000 pounds of diapers and baby shit in it because of you, bro. All right? For every kid that you have. So you are the ones that are ruining this, not me. And I'll tell you what, the best thing about not having kids, other than being able to do what I want to do, not wasting money. So wait, there's about a million things that are great about not having kids. But one of them is I don't have to worry about them getting the day after tomorrow, like when I die. It's like I'm just sitting here hoping Mother Earth can hang on for another 40 or 50 more years so that I can live comfortably. After that, humanity be damned. I don't give a shit.
Damn, hardcore.
That's just hardcore. I mean, I got nieces out there, but that's their mother and father's problem, not mine. I love you guys. Love you guys, but
like those things are not biodegradable. You shit in them once. I don't know. I don't have kids, but from what I understand, kids shit like 3 or 4 times a day, and then you're taking that diaper, you're throwing it in the garbage, and it's not biodegradable. It's like plasticky, papery plastic, and then that's going in a landfill. There's probably billions of landfills that are filled with just baby shit and plastic. It's fucking disgusting, dude.
It's super gross. The other thing with that is I had a friend come into town. Well, it used to be a friend of mine. There's that old song where it's like, now you're just somebody that I used to know. You remember that one from
somebody that you used to?
We're great singers. We should cut a record. But anyhow, there's that song. He's just some guy that I used to know at this point. But he and his wife came into town and they made a very quick pop in. So they went. It was very, very clear that them visiting us was an absolute afterthought. It was like, oh, they're in the area to see like her family and her friends. I don't like his wife. Nobody likes his wife. She's not a nice person. She's not a good person. She's the reason that we're not friends. But anyhow.
Fired.
What's up?
Shots fired, but go ahead.
Shots fired. This is Punch Stain, by the way. Anyhow, so like he comes up and I get like a text in the morning and it's like, oh, hey, we're in the area. Are you around? Like, do you want us to come by? And it's very clear that like the thought and consideration of it was basically like, oh, hey, we couldn't extend our checkout at the Marriott. So like we got to leave at 11, but we got places to be at 2. So it's like, instead of, fucking around, like, hey, we'll drive out to see you. Okay, yeah, great.
2, so we got like a couple hours to kill before we get Chipotle, and it's delicious Sofrita bowls.
Yeah, so they were going to a barbecue or some shit. So they come over, and like they don't even fucking sit down, and didn't even sit down or do anything. And it was a very.
Were there chairs in your house?
Yeah, we have many chairs. There's 4 people in the house at that point in time. We could accommodate, we got 15 to 20 chairs in our house. We got other folding chairs in the garage if we have more company. There's plenty of room for everyone to sit down. So they don't even sit down. And at a certain point, I'm like, hey, man, what have you been up to, man? I miss playing video games with you. We should we got a new Call of Duty coming out in November. We should get back on that. He's like, what system are you playing? I was like, fucking, I got both, man. I got PS4, I got Xbox, whatever you want.
You got $40? Drive to GameStop.
Yeah, I was like, so go to GameStop, man. Like, whenever you want to, man, just hit me up. And his wife is standing right there. And she's like, you've got a lot of work to do, like, in the garage before you could ever think about doing something like that. I'm like, oh, fuck you, bitch.
In front of you.
You're right in front of me. I'm like, hey, man, I am desperate to try and reconnect with you. And she's like, I was like, whatever. I was like, whatever, man. Whatever I could do to fucking get you on a headset for 30 minutes, man. I'll literally do that. And right after that, she's like, no, no, that's not happening. You're a new father. So they have a little baby with them. And that is that's the kicker. That's what made me think of this, talking about diapers. So apparently I didn't know much about diapers. Like I said, I don't have any kids, so I don't know diaper etiquette. But I go to my downstairs bathroom and I'm like, that's weird. I look in my fucking trash can. What the fuck is that? There's left a fucking dirty ass baby diaper in my house, man. They just like the kid shit itself. They rolled it up into a ball and then Stephen curried it into my trash can.
That's disgusting.
It's fucking disgusting.
Dude. Oh my God.
It's like, and I told my wife that. I was like, hey, you know more about kids than I do. Like, she got a lot of friends with kids. I'm like, there's a fucking diaper in our goddamn bathroom. And she was pissed. She was super pissed because she's a person with etiquette. Like, unlike me, she's got class and grace and etiquette. Yeah, self-respect, things of that nature. And she's like, that is so rude. Like,
human shit. It's human shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, dude, like, how would you feel if I came over and took a dump in your bathroom trash can? Like, that's not proper etiquette. So apparently what people are supposed to do is they're supposed to drag around like a little, it's kind of like picking up after your dog. Like, if your dog shits at the park, you get a bag and you pick it up. If your kid shits somewhere, you fucking roll the diaper off of him and then you transport that shit to whatever location like you can to find a proper like disposal point for it. You don't just leave turd bombs in people's bathrooms, man. Like, that is not cool.
Dude, dude, for the listeners out there, I have so many poop stories. Don't even get me started. But this just reminded me because you're talking about somebody going into a bathroom and taking a dump and just leaving a turd there. I was a lifeguard back in the day, and one of my responsibilities as a lifeguard was in the evening. You would have to go in there with a garden hose and hose down the whole bathroom. And it was pretty dope because in Florida, at least where I lived, I worked in the afternoons and it always rained at 2:00. So 1:30 would roll around. I'd come in, I'd sit down, or I'm sorry, 2:30, I'd start working. I would see even a speck of lightning and I would go blow my whistle, everybody off the pool deck. And I'd kick everybody. So it was me and like two of my buddies. We would always do that. We would always be chilling. Great job. But at the end of the day, one of us would have to spray down the bathroom. There was this one time, this little boy ran out of the bathroom. And I'm like, this kid looks like he just shit in the bathroom. I walk in, I'm about to clean the bathroom. This little fucker had taken a dump in the urinal. And I knew it was him, because it was freshly laid and it was still moving. Like, it kind of was there and it looked like it was like slowly sliding down the porcelain. And I knew it was him and he ran. And the worst part, his mother knew because his mother like took off with him and both of them took off. And I couldn't really say anything because at the time I was like 18, 19, 20 years old. I was just like, what the fuck? I hosed it. You know, I disintegrated it with a hose and then flushed it like a bunch of times and it disappeared. But it's pretty disgusting, man. I tell you what, you can't blame the kids, man. You got to blame the parents. A lot of these parents are so fucking unaware of what's going on, like self-awareness zero. Like, they'll change their kids' diapers like wherever and they just don't care. It's fucking disgusting, dude.
Yeah, they're like, I'll just lay Junior out and then just change this shitty diaper on this McDonald's table because I'm a human trash, because I'm complete human trash.
Like, I could understand if you do that, like, in Taco Bell, but don't go to Chick-fil-A and do that in my sweet, sweet Chick-fil-A. Do that at Subway or Taco Bell. Anything above that, you're being a dick.
Feel free to do that at Subway. I don't ever eat at Subway, so change as many dirty diapers in Subway as you want. They're probably a lot cleaner than whatever that stuff they call bread is as well. I mean, there's probably a lot less germs in a human turd than there is in a loaf of Subway, quote, bread.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Let's not talk about shit anymore.
Well, we got to talk about a little bit more shit as we talk about how poorly the Buccaneers played today. They got steamrolled by the Panthers. There was a little bit of Fitz magic after they went down 35-0, but overall, not a good game for the Bucs. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a couple Jameis. I didn't see that guy moments at the beginning of that one.
Yeah, you did not see that guy.
Yeah, I'd see that guy, man. I didn't see him, but he ended up with 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Cam Newton was good today. Overall, Panthers looking good, looking strong. They're one of the true contenders in the NFC.
There's a bunch of good teams this year. Panthers are really starting to shine, and we'll talk about it later. But the Saints are looking good too.
Saints are looking real good. They're probably the, if ESPN's putting out the power rankings next week, it's probably between them and the Chiefs. And you got to go with the Saints probably because, the Chiefs defense, it is not good. And the Saints defense is maybe okay, which is better than not good.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
C'est terrible. But the Panthers coming up big, covering that 6.5. Thank you, Ron Rivera. Thank you, Cam. Much appreciated. I'll tell you who didn't cover for me, and that was the Seahawks. So I had the Seahawks in that one. Chargers beat them 25-17. Phillip Rivers, he's going home happy. All of his kids are going to eat tonight. And I'll tell you what, that was a tough ending to that game, particularly if you had money on the Seahawks. End of that game, Russell Wilson, they're down 8. Throw a pass in the end zone on the last play of the game. Pass interference gets called. Seahawks get called for a false start. Last untimed down, he throws a dime to some guy in the back of the end zone. The announcers were trying to say, oh, it got tipped, but it hit the guy right in the fucking hands. He dropped it, went prone on the ground, and just laid there like he was trying to snipe somebody in Call of Duty, and then just fucking dropped it and ruined that for me. I had that tied into a teaser. I had the Hawks straight up. That was one of the black marks of the day. But Chargers, they're 6-2. They're not a Miami Dolphins fake 6-2, but I'm still not a big believer in the Chargers.
Well, they're still in the Chiefs division, so it's going to be rough. They could probably make a wild card, but it'll be interesting to see because they're 6-2, but the Texans are 6-3. They're right behind them. So we're still kind of at that halfway point, but we'll see. We'll see how that
goes. They play the Chiefs again on December 13th. That'll be a good one. That's a Thursday night game, so that should be a good game.
They won't beat them, but it'll be interesting to see.
We'll see how it goes. But, never know. Joey Bosa might be back for that. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. They got the Raiders, Broncos, Cardinals next. So that's 3 easy wins right there. They could be 9-2 heading into Pittsburgh the first week of December. So Chargers looking good. I don't know how they're going to get to that 9-7, but they're going to get there somehow. They always do.
They'll find a way. Life always finds a way.
Finds a way. It finds a way. I miss Jeff Goldblum. Has he been in any of these fucking new Jurassic Park movies? I didn't see the newest one. Did you see the newest one?
I think I did. I don't know, man. I have a hard time watching these movies nowadays. Like, it's like 2 hours of bullshit. You know what? I did see it. There was like a little raptor, and the raptor's like a dog, and the guy talks to the raptor, and the raptor's like this thing that's yeah, I did see it. It's fucking terrible, actually.
That sounds like it's really, really bad.
It's just a lot of CGI, but not in a good way. Not the Pacific Rim CGI that we know and love, but like the over the top, like CGI that I don't like. Yeah. It's 2 hours of unwatchable movie is what it is. Because when I watch Game of Thrones, I'm like invested into these characters. I want to know about the Hound. I want to know about Arya. I want to know about these people. But when I watch Jurassic Park, it's super rushed. I don't care about the main characters. There's a chick. I don't care about the chick. She's wearing like a tight shirt. That's pretty cool, I guess.
I like that.
I like that. That kept me entertained. But other than that, dude, I got ADD. That shit, that's too little. It's too little for 2 hours, It's
not doing it for me. And I remember the original new one where at the end of it, that fucking giant whale shark jumped out and ate the super T-Rex. And I was like, God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's what this has all been built up to. I could have done that. I could have done that myself in my garage, just with a
Yeah,
shaky handy cam.
I saw the Meg. Did you see that with Jason Statham, one of your bald idols?
I didn't. That's one of the few Jason Statham movies that I haven't seen.
I actually saw it and I don't remember it at all, but it was an absolute fuck fest. Dwight was in it from The Office. I don't even remember what happens. I don't know if it's my CTE or what, or just the movies are just so terrible. But I don't know. These movies are hard to watch, man. It's like a dying market, a dying genre. Like when you
I'll tell you who's dying is Denver Broncos fans because they lost to the Texans. Texans moved to 6-3. Another game that I know you're gonna say to yourself they didn't deserve to win.
didn't
They didn't, and I'll tell you why, because Vance Joseph gave it to him. This is one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in a long time.
break
Texans,
it down, Bobby.
Texans 19, Broncos 17. So the Broncos are driving at the end of the game. Case Keenum throws a nice pass. There's 40 seconds left. 40 seconds left. The Broncos have a timeout, and they're on the 34-yard line of the Texans. They huddled. They huddled. There's 40 seconds left, and they huddled. And then they did one of those things where they move it to the right hash for their kicker. You know, this is their kicker's preferred hash. And they set up a 51-yard field goal. All right, here's the deal. I get that you are in Denver, and people have made 60-plus yard field goals there. I get Graham Gano made a monster earlier. But why are you doing that? Like, get 15 more yards. Get 20 more yards. You got the time to do that. But Vance Joseph says to himself, "Now I'm just going to settle for this 51-yarder to try and win the game." And rightly, justly, Brandon McManus pushed that thing off to the side. And fuck you, Vance Joseph. You're getting fired. I would fire him tonight. If I was John Elway, first thing I'd do, I'd go to my private plane. I'd fire whoever cleaned it. And then I'd fire the mechanics. And then I'd go to some restaurant. I'd shit on the maitre d'. I'd try and get the waitress fired. And then I'd go back to my house and I'd text Vance Joseph and say, "Hey, Vance, come see me in my office tomorrow morning. We got to talk."
Yeah, I mean, you forgot about leaving a nasty Yelp review too. He'd probably do that on the way to firing Vance Joseph. So don't forget that.
Yeah, 1 star. All right. The escargot was warm, and my steak tartare was not rare. It was medium, and I'm never going back here. Never going back.
He did not tip the Uber driver, which is a big no-no.
John Elway doesn't tip appropriately. We know that. Like, he gets delivery, and he's like, "Oh, why would I tip you? I paid a delivery charge. Why would I tip you? I already paid that. You're making money anyway. So give me my fucking Pizza Hut and get out of here. Get out of here."
Crazy bread and fuck off. But we kind of said that this dude should have been fired like weeks ago, like a long time ago. I don't know what he did, but I think like week 2 he did some dumb shit, and you and me were both clamoring for his head. And
That's all Vance Joseph does is dumb shit. All right, we got rid of Hugh Jackson. All right, so the seal's broken. It's kind of like there was this bar in college where they did this thing. It was called penny pitchers. And what they did was they sold pitchers of beer for, it was on Thursday nights or Wednesday nights, whatever it was. It started at like 8, and all the pitchers were only a penny until one of two things happened: until somebody left the bar or until somebody went to the bathroom, right? So it's like, you could just get rid of Vance Joseph at any point in time. All right, you don't need to worry about the penny pitchers have already been broken. Hugh Jackson already went to the bathroom, so we don't have to worry about any sort of reverberations or any sort of, kickback from getting rid of that guy. It's late enough in the year to say to yourself, let's fire this dude and not have to worry about people saying that you didn't give him a fair shot.
After we finish talking about the Saints Rams and a couple more things, can we start handing shovels out? Because we've been talking handing shovels out for a while, and
let's give them to these teams. We'll go through a kind of a mid-season preview, and we'll hand out the shovels for everyone that's done. two teams that are definitely not going to get a shovel until sometime in January, the Rams and the Saints. So the Rams, they went into New Orleans. Everyone very drunk and sad last night. Everyone very drunk and happy tonight in New Orleans and in the state of Louisiana.
Saints.
Go Saints. Go Saints. Let's go. So a lot of proud Cajuns feeling good about Sean Payton, Drew Brees. Gurley had another good game. Kamara, he held his own. Drew Brees, 4 touchdown passes. Once again, no interceptions, taking care of the ball. Big thing for me on this one for everybody. End of the game, put him up 10. Michael Thomas did an homage to Joe Horn. I don't know if you remember Joe Horn, but he was on a TO level of touchdown celebrations back in the day when you couldn't do them. And Michael Thomas actually had a flip phone hiding underneath the little pad under the goalpost.
That was dope.
Went in there, got that thing out, made a few phone calls, and a lot of people were like, man, you can't do that. What if it cost the Saints a game? Well, it didn't, so we don't need to chastise them for that. More showboating, good. More sportsmanship, bad. So I have nothing but praise for Michael Thomas.
Can we just start screaming "Who dat" a bunch? Like, is it like? Can we start that? Who dat?
I think it is. I think it's time. Who dat? Who dat Saints or who dem Saints or I don't know. I don't know how that works. I can't understand most of those people. I understand them less than I do Cardi B. Have you heard any Cardi B songs? But there's that one song where she's talking with that Spanish guy, and I get more what he's saying. Because whenever I hear her talk, all I can think about is that Family Guy line where Stewie says, you don't so much speak the language as you do chew it up and spit it out. So you're not really talking. You're just chewing on your fucking lips and just spitting shit out because I cannot understand you.
She's a genius, though. She's made an industry off of just being a, what's the word? Oh, yeah, a whore. Just like a classic just whore, dude.
I mean, good for her. Good for her. I mean, anyone with that little amount of brain cells that can make that amount of money, good for you. Right? I mean, it speaks to the idiocracy trend of our own culture, which, like, man, I haven't watched that movie. Have you seen the movie Idiocracy?
I didn't. I'm too stupid to watch movies like that.
Okay, don't watch it because it will scare the shit out of you. Like, it will really scare you because the more you watch. So it's a Mike Judge film. All right. So it's a Mike Judge film where somebody gets sent into I don't know how he gets into the future. He's like cryogenically frozen or something like that. And he wakes up in the future. And basically the whole premise of the movie is all the smart people don't have kids. All the dumb people have an unlimited amount of kids. And then eventually, like, I think the president is Terry Crews, right? I think he's Terry Crews, and he walks around in, like, very patriot gear, like with like cut up American flags on him and shit like that. His old clothing's made out of American flags, and everybody is dumb, like as dumb as the dumbest guy in Louisiana, right? That is the average citizen, and no one drinks water anymore. They all drink like whatever the Monster Energy drink is of the movie, to the point where they don't even water their crops with water anymore. Like, they water things with energy drinks because it's better. And it gives you, like, it's fucking ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. So the guy shows up there and he's but an average man, but he is the Stephen Hawking of the future. All right. So he's the Stephen Hawking of the future, and he's got to kind of turn things around because, not surprisingly, there have got giant famine and other sort of apocalyptic issues kind of breathing down on them. So it is not an easy thing to watch given the current trends in our own civilization.
Comedy, right?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
I don't know. I feel like we're kind of close to what that movie is. You're not describing something that I'm not unfamiliar with. Most of the people that I meet are either drinking Surge or Mountain Dew or Red Bull or Monster Energy drinks, and they're all dumb as fuck. They've got a lot of kids. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what makes it so scary. Like, that's genuinely what makes it so scary. So Last thing, Packers, they're 10 points at halftime. Patriots got 17, so they're well within striking distance of that 6-point spread. Rooting for you, Aaron Rodgers. Just give me a little field goal there. We'll be good to go. Close that gap a little bit. PG, you got any closing thoughts here? Week 9. Oh, wait. We got to hand the shovels out. What am I doing here? All right, so let's go ahead. Let's look at the standings. Let's hand out some shovels. So who needs to start digging their own grave? Who's it over for?
Well, let's start with the AFC East. Go into that standings on the CBS Sports thing. Obviously, the Jets. We're gonna give a shovel to them. We're gonna give a shovel to them because the Jets. We're both in agreement, right? They're done, right?
The Jets have a shovel and they're standing. So if we're digging these graves, I'm happy putting a bullet in the back of somebody's head as soon as that grave's about 3 feet deep, right? I don't have the patience for them to sit there and dig the hole 6 to 8 feet. But once you get about 3 feet in the bed of the truck, I'm gonna go ahead and put a bullet in. They have dug that hole 3 feet deep, and I have gone ahead and cocked and loaded, and the Jets season is over.
So if the Jets are over, you're killing the Jets and their body's landing on top of Buffalo's body because they've been dead for a while. It looks like.
Yeah, Buffalo's already down in there. Like I've already backed the truck up, stopped it, and pulled that dirt back over their very warm bodies because it's over for Buffalo. It's been over for them for a while. And there's not going to be any fists coming out of that thing like a horror movie for them to resurrect themselves. It's over for Buffalo. Pittsburgh's still alive. Cincinnati's still alive. Not giving the shovel to Baltimore just yet. I'm holding it. I'm holding it there, and I'm staring at them though. That's for sure.
That's pretty funny. You're waving the gun in the air. You're letting them know that you have the gun. It's loaded. So Cleveland is giving them a shovel.
Yeah, Cleveland gets a shovel. Baltimore's doing that thing where they make their final plea, and they're like, I'm a father. I got kids. And I'm like, I'm getting ready to hand it to them. But yeah, Cleveland, they're standing there. They're 3 feet deep. And I'm cocking the gun because it's over for you. I'm not ready. Yeah, I might as well. Go ahead and back the truck up. Fling that dirt over them too. Let's light up a cigarette. Do a few pats on the top of it. And then we'll call it good for Cleveland as well. In the South, you can't give a shovel to anybody in the South just yet. All right,
Great.
Houston 6-3, but they're a very vulnerable 6-3. Tennessee, you're gonna be the next one to grasp that wooden handle, most likely. Indy 3-5, Jacksonville 3-5, but that division still could go to anybody.
I agree. You don't want to give a shovel to anybody too early. You might have to do one of those good fellow things where you got to dig up the body a couple weeks later, and then you're coughing. You and your buddy are coughing up a storm, and you got to throw a decomposed body back in there.
Yeah, we've all got that Tutankhamun tuberculosis thing. It's like, oh man, we shouldn't have gone into that tomb. There's some sort of weird bacteria here. It's not a curse. It's some sort of weird Egyptian kind of fucking smallpox. It's killing everybody off. But Kansas City 8-1, Chargers 6-2. They're both looking very strong for the postseason. Denver, here you go, Vance. You go ahead. You start the digging here. You're going to be the one that's going to be digging for Denver because it's not only he's getting 2 shovels. He's getting a shovel for their season and a shovel for his job.
Yeah, this is one of the ones where you're in the same kind of the casino world where Denver and Oakland, you're beating up Denver and who's Joe Pesci, and Oakland is Joe Pesci's brother, and you're just whacking the fuck out of them and dragging them. They're still kind of awake as you bury him, because it's a fucking pathetic showing. John Gruden, shame on you. You should be playing better.
Gruden and the Raiders, we're already cruising back out of the desert in the truck. They're long gone. They're in the rear view. We're smoking cigarettes, talking about who the next door we're going to knock on is going to be.
I can tell
Washington.
It's going to be New York Giants.
It's going to be the New York Giants. Washington 5-3, Philly 4-4, Dallas 3-4. Giants 1-7. They're as dead as can be. They're long dead. We've taken the shovel back from them. They no longer have it. They're just a rotting corpse in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, we've since left the gun and we've taken the cannoli, and it's been a while. We've already eaten the cannoli.
Yeah, we didn't even waste a bullet on the Giants. We just bashed their heads in. They're not worth the bullet. We don't need forensics digging that out of them. They're not worth it. They're not worth any time in the clink. Chicago, They're on top of the division. Minnesota, Green Bay, they're looking good. Detroit, I mean, here's your shovel. Go ahead and take it. Start digging.
I agree. We'll give it to Detroit. Let's keep going. What about Tampa?
Tampa, not yet. Not yet. Now with Fitzmagic there, I would say give him one more week. Let him get to 3-6. Let him fire Cutter. And I think they're done at that point.
Okay, so we're waving this shovel around in the air like menacingly at this point.
Yeah, very menacingly. They're doing that tearful thing too, where they're talking about reasons why we shouldn't be doing what we're about to do. But then we're like, hey man, this isn't on me. All right, this isn't on me. This is on you. This is because of what you did. All right, accept some responsibility and start digging.
Right. I just work here. Okay.
I'm just following orders, man. If I don't follow these orders, next thing you know, it's me out here with the shovel in my hand.
Let's finish it up with two teams, Arizona and San Francisco.
Yeah, hey, they're in the rear view. They're already done, dead, buried.
Face down, 6 feet under. I like it.
It's over. I don't care. I mean, I get you beat the Raiders, San Francisco, but I think you got the Chargers coming into town next week just to finish things off if they weren't already. So
Dude, I can't believe the Raiders are 1-7. That's
I
crazy.
can. I mean, I'd be more surprised if they weren't. All right, they're getting rid of everything. It's going to be a true test for Gruden next year, because hey, it's one thing to get trashed a season. It's another thing to kind of drag that through multiple years.
I agree.
So
shame on Mark Davis.
Shame on you. Shame on you. But not shame on your barber, because he's killing it, man. You're flexing with that haircut. Looks good. Looks better every week. All right, everybody, you have a great rest of the weekend. We'll see you back here Thursday night for Week 10 NFL preview.